Why? What do we got to do?
Well, I mean,
What do we got to do?
where do you want to start?
Everything was bad on Saturday.
Yep.
From the weather to the fans.
Honestly, the weather wasn't awful. It was supposed to be raining. It was supposed to be a downpour.
Way better than expected.
Right.
The weather was way better than expected.
Right. It was windy. It was cold. I was kind of sitting up high with because it was youth football day. There were 50 teams there.
They were having a great time.
They were having a great. And again, though, with the lack of support because you started 0-4 and you're not playing well.
Well, they're 0-3 at that time.
0-3 at that time, but going into this fourth game, give away the tickets. Fill the stadium. You and I we talked about this since we started working together. Give away the tickets. You have a big-time recruit coming in. So that's the first thing, because everybody's talking about it at our tailgate. Yeah, Cooper Flagg's going to be here. Let's have a good showing. We know we're going to get smoked by Duke. That's fine. But let's have a good showing and try to keep it close on the football field. But let's show this guy spirit. The first thing I notice, where the hell is the band?
Oh, the band.
Okay, so I listen, and I read about the pep band debacle.
Right, that's a big misunderstanding.
I know it's a misunderstanding, and David Benedict's all over it, but because of the politics of this, you people don't realize that you may have just sent our best recruit to Duke by not showing your ass up at the game.
Well, fortunately, rumor has it, Coach Hurley never brought him to the game. Woo! Thank you.
Thank God.
Great move.
Well, Coach Hurley's smarter than we are.
Great move.
Anyway,
but you are correct.
But still, you don't. The band doesn't know that.
No.
Band isn't privy to that information. The band, your band. What you got? 6 home games.
Yeah.
You're a band. I was in the band in 6th grade, and I think I know enough about being a band person. Mm-hmm. You show up at games. This is what you do. And you didn't show up at that game, a top 25 ranked team. I mean, it just to me, listen, then, you know what? If these people are on scholarship, I have to start thinking about whether or not we should have band scholarships. What, are you just going to show up? No, seriously. What are you going to show up at the women's basketball because they're national champs 11 times? You're going to show up the men because they're national champs 5 times? You show up at the sporting events you're supposed to show up at. That's what your job prerequisite is.
So I heard a rumor before I heard anything about the band drama. I know some band mates, some alumni band, and some friends of the band. And the word was, well, it's going to rain. And
crap.
The woodwinds do not want their instruments out in the rain. That was the rumor that was going around, that
put some plastic on it.
The band might not be
I played
here.
the clarinet too. You're spitting all over the damn thing. It's getting wet.
And I thought, and I was talking to some other people, like, I've seen plenty of bands. High school to middle school to other colleges across the country. Then the report came out that there was some, air quote, illness going through the band. Now, I understand that as well. But can't we, how many people we got in this band?
Probably 200.
Now, I understand that, each person needs to be there for the formation and for
then
the
don't
stuff.
Do formations. Just sit in the stupid stands.
I'm with you, man. Tell the woodwinds, take
There's
a break.
A huge empty spot where you were supposed to be.
People with illness, don't come. People that can come, that have their instruments.
If you're a clarinet player and you don't want to bring it, then don't bring it.
Right.
Bring a tambourine. Make some noise.
Great point. Pass out kazoos.
Again, my daughter's 12. Okay, she cheers for the 8th grade team. Pouring rain on Saturday.
She was there.
She showed up. She represented. And listen, my wife, because she's a parent of a cheerleader, all the parents were there to clean up after the game in pouring rain. I mean, if you have something that you have responsibility for, I really believe this as a former athlete. You show up.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're all in. Listen, I had to go to Dick's in the morning to get 3, whatever the hell you put the plastic over ponchos. Because we knew we were going to sit in pouring rain. Yeah. My wife bought season tickets this year to support the team. I will be at every home game.
Damn right.
I don't care if they go 0-6 at home this year. I'm going to support this football team. I respect Jim Moore, what he's trying to do. Sometimes you're overmatched. They were overmatched against Duke, but you show up. I don't care if the pep band's not going. That'll work itself out. That's not your job. So, again, I feel like let's just start with the band failed the football players on Saturday.
The number one group of people, though, that I will point at that do get free tickets, that do get rides.
The students.
Where the hell are the students at? There's a good 20 guys and gals that I have mad respect for because they showed up. What are we going to call? Kurt thought we were going to get a call. He's one of the people yell at the band. I'm with him. I'm with you on the band.
We know you're yelling at the band. Trust me. Keep your hands on the wheel. It's very dangerous driving right now.
But we need more students.
Yeah, we
definitely need more students. There's buses that pick them up at Gamble that will bring them all the way to the rent.
You can't just show up, people, when things are going good.
And you can't just show up 2 minutes into the first quarter. You need to be there 15 minutes before the first quarter.
I was there an hour before the game started.
Not only like that look, but just when you look around the country after our game to all the other fan bases, completely nuts, packed venues before kickoff, getting their teams pumped up. Now, that all happened, but we got what we got. We're dealing with the fine weather. It was fine. We're dealing with the lack of fans. It's all good. We're getting screwed by these refs.
Oh,
we're getting so screwed by these refs.
Let's just take the targeting.
First 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Best player in the team.
Best player. You kick the best player off of the Huskies is awful.
The screen pass.
Now, were they ACC refs?
Yes.
Okay. That's the first mistake. They should have been neutral refs.
So we uncovered this during the tailgate show. I was talking to athletic director David Benedict about protesting Mumu bin Wahad's hit the week before and where he was not starting this week because of the targeting last week. That looked like a pretty normal football play. And David Benedict told us that their appeal group, because they are an independent football team, they don't have a conference to go to complain on. They use the ACC as their appeal group. And they were the ones who also told him, like, yeah, you should go to the NCAA on this one. Okay, so you got that story from Mumu. Dude, 3 minutes into this game, defense is doing good. Defense was playing great in the first start of this game. Had Riley Leonard on his heels. He was throwing a screen pass that he couldn't see around Jackson Mitchell.
Through sidearm. Dude, he dumped it. He dumped it at the feet.
Before he even releases the football, the ball is in his hand as Jackson Mitchell basically hits him like a normal linebacker would hit any quarterback. I've looked at this a couple of times. I still can't get it. They call targeting and roughing the passer.
No. They didn't call targeting. Right. Then they reviewed it a second time to call targeting.
Before they call it, then they review it. Then they say, you know what? No targeting.
No targeting.
But we will keep the roughing the passer.
Right. Which is fine. Okay.
However, our astute young sideline reporter, Adam Giardino, has read NCAA targeting rules front and back. And you cannot have a roughing the passer without the targeting. If you had no targeting, there would be no roughing the passer. One affected the other. If you call roughing the passer, there is no targeting. I'm not saying that like roughing the passer is always targeting.
Granted, let's just say he went helmet to helmet. He did hit his mask with his helmet.
They're saying that if it was any kind of roughing the passer, the roughing has to be targeting.
Okay.
So then they looked at that. They were told that over the secret red phone called them from the ACC. And then they brought not only the roughing the passer back, but since they gave him the roughing the passer, they had to adhere and acknowledge the targeting. So not only was that a 15-yard penalty, it took our best player on defense
off the field.
I would say our best player on the team.
We'll give you the 15 yards, but you can't take our best player off the field.
I agree. It would have been so fine if all right, that's a bad roughing the passer call, but insult to injury, taking our middle linebacker out of the game, that was game over. That was already game over right there. We're down a cornerback from this crap last week, and now we're going to be down the middle linebacker the entire game against Duke. I honestly thought big boys up front played a great ball game.
I do too, but there's, again, the play calling, trying to do trickery. Stop. You're not a good enough football team to do these trick plays. I don't know why we keep trying to pull them out when we're down like 7-0 or 10-0. We're in the game. You fumble it, now it's 17-0.
I'm just looking
they scored on the first play. After that fumble, the guy just ran it right in, and that was the game was over before it even started. But again, with the trick plays, I know you're trying to catch Duke off guard. Man, just do what you do well. Do what you do well, and continue. If it's running the football, let's run the football for 35 to 40 minutes and try to score as many touchdowns as we can, but keep the other team's offense off the field. This is what we did well last year. This is why we won.
One of the problems with that is Devontae Houston, one of our better running backs, became ill himself and was not healthy enough to finish out the game. He stopped after the first quarter. Then my guy, my favorite player on offense, old Victor Rosa, that dude is special when he gets the football. I'm sorry. When he gets the football, whether it's in the pass, whether it's punt return, whether it's just getting a handoff, he is special. However, Victor's dealing with back spasms and a bruised shoulder. So he was completely banged up before that game started. So then bring in Mitchell, the guy with the Red Sox, transferred from Louisville. A fumble in the second half to start our offense that turned into a scoop and score. That's a 14-point swing we did not need. That made the game 34-0. That was like a knife stabbed me in the stomach and twisted around about 15 times. The only time the first time that we get a pass completed over 10 yards was when it was on the second half, 41-0. Once we get the ball back after 41-0, that's when we completed our first pass over 10 yards. We were stuck on 24 yards in the first half.
Yeah.
They had more points than yards than UConn.
Yeah,
I understand.
You don't really need to get into the particulars because it was so horrific, but a lot of it is because you just are searching for an offense. And I've said this about identity. You have to identify what type of team you are and stick with it. And if it's because we're not a passing team. We don't have a quarterback that can pass. We don't have a quarterback that hits guys in the hands constantly enough to where you're just, and then you're down. Now you're down 3 touchdowns. The other team's sitting back, waiting for you to pass. They kick the crap out of you. So, and then people are like going crazy because you're running the football, because that's all we do well is run the football.
I think the offense is something to be desired in the last 2 years. There's been flashes of good stuff, but, man, this is a carryover from last year. You can't win Division I football games throwing less than 100 yards. And Taekwon throws a decent ball. He hit about 4 or 5 guys in the stomach, especially in the second. He suffered some drops from his receivers that you got to help him out, man. I mean, Taekwon isn't, Peyton Manning back there. So when he gives you a ball that's catchable, you got to make that catch. I'm sorry. There's a couple of drops that were disgusting. But this team's got to figure it out. The one thing I do love still is the coach. This coach is not going to take this as like, oh, that's who we are. The coach is busting his butt as we speak, trying to figure this out, trying to win a football game. Got Utah State coming in next. I know it's a noon kickoff, which is always difficult to get people out there for a noon kickoff.
Get some beer and eggs in you.
Get some kegs and eggs in you.
Kegs and eggs. There you go.
Listen to Dibs. We got to win. We got to win on Saturday.
Got to win. All right. We'll do Dibbles and Bits next, brought to you by Tire Depot, and then we'll get into some who we had and maybe even a little MLB before the end of the show.